Okay, my name is Lorraine Jordan. I live here in northern Utah, and my story is when I was introduced to this product, I wasn't looking for another product. I thought I had a great product. I had good health, and life was good for me. But because I trusted a good friend that invited me to a presentation, I drove 2 hours to my first presentation and was so impressed with what I heard. And so tonight I would just ask you to keep an open mind as you listen to the information that is given to you tonight. Sometimes we kind of get set in our ways and we think our way is the only way, but I invite you to keep an open mind tonight. I have to read a little disclaimer as we begin. This information tonight is provided for educational and informational purposes only and may not be construed as medical advice. These statements, information, and products have not been evaluated and or approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. If you have a health or medical disorder, condition, illness, or disease, consult your physician before taking these recommendations or any recommendations or taking this or any nutritional supplement. Okay, with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. Her name is Angela Braun. She's a Legacy 1 leader in the company, which simply means to all you new people on the call that Angela has shared the product with a lot of people and helped them to achieve better health. I have come to learn that Angela has a heart of gold, and she's willing to help educate everyone. She spends many hours a day talking to a wide variety of people with multiple health concerns. I appreciate her medical background and her ability to educate people on a variety of health concerns. Tonight, Angela and I are going to use kind of an interview format, which we thought might be a fun way to educate you about this incredible product. So, Angela, I hope you've unmuted yourself, and please give everyone kind of a brief background of how you first got involved with this company and started sharing the product. Go ahead, Angela.
Hey, Lorraine, can you hear me?
You bet.
Awesome, it worked. I was a little worried there. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on the call. I'm excited to work with your team. We've spent some time over the last little bit getting to really know each other and spend a lot of Q&A time, and we thought it would be fun to kind of discuss some of the reasons that, well, actually there's one reason that I'm here at Engage Global, and that is our product. Opportunity as well, but product is my number one reason. I, like most people, was approached and originally, long time ago in June of 2013, and I wasn't looking for a company. I wasn't interested in building a company. I wasn't interested in taking a supplement. I actually had all kinds of bottles of supplements, and I thought I was doing pretty good, probably like most of us. And I also had my father taking lots of supplements and thought he was doing pretty good too, but I was wrong. And when I was first approached, I did not want to get involved, but I was happy to take samples, and I wasn't going to take them myself, so I brought them home and gave them to my dad and said, stop taking everything you're taking and try these. And to back up a little bit, at the time, he was suffering with high blood pressure. He had I don't know when he developed it, but we had just discovered just a few weeks prior that he was actually stage 2, stage 3 hypertension. He had never been on blood pressure medications, and he, well, quite frankly, was irritated with the fact of even having to go to the doctor or check that out or do anything about it. And he was also suffering with a lot of inflammation in his body, which we didn't know at the time and wasn't aware of what was going on. But his mobility was really restricted. His ability to go up and down stairs was slow. And anybody who knows my dad, and I'm sure we have members on here that do, would see him today and laugh at me for even saying any of this because he's in such great health. He moves around just fine, and you would never, ever know that there was an issue. But long story short, I brought the nutrients home and gave them to him, told him to take them, and lo and behold, about a week later, we started to notice some things. By we, I mean my kids and I, who are around him all of the time. We've noticed it looked like he was floating. He was moving so easily and so quickly. It was almost irritating how quickly he was moving. And it was a funny story about my kids. We used to sit down and have dinner, and my dad lives in the apartment in the upper part of my home, and so he would get up and, of course, avoid dishes, and the kids would try to argue with him. And it used to take him long enough to get up the stairs that they could argue with him a little bit, fun arguing. But one night we finished dinner, he put his plate up, and he was gone before they even looked up to start the argument. My daughter said, "How did Grandpa do that?" Anyway, it was interesting to watch that change, watch his mobility change, watch the color and texture of his skin change, and just his overall health and his blood pressure as well. He never did end up going on blood pressure medication back then. This was in 2013. He ended up just taking the microdaily, and for him, his blood pressure issues resolved, and his blood pressure lowered, and he became a much healthier version of himself. At that point, I had to know what microdaily was. Actually, within the first couple of weeks, I called back and said, okay, there is something to this. I've never seen any nutrient respond in anybody's body the way that I had seen that respond in his. So at that point, Lorraine, I gave a call back to the company, and Jason actually at the time, and said, I need to know more. I was able to spend a lot of time with the doctors and discussing why this works in our body the way it does, and to really learn and grow and understand why nutrients are so important and what nutrients are and what they're supposed to do for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in your study and talking with the doctors and everything, please share with us what sets this product apart from other nutritional supplements out in the market.
Well, Dr. Prasad, he is our number one key ingredient, if you will. He is probably the world's foremost expert in micronutrient science. He is a wonderful human being. I've gotten to spend some time with him, and he's the nicest, kindest, sweetest man on the earth, and he just has spent his entire career and entire life mastering that combination, that perfect balance, that CQS, that combination quantity and form that we take so that it triggers our body's natural health repair mechanisms. It's kind of like a car, and this is an example I use because it made sense to me. If we're driving a car, that car is going to get old. It's going to break down eventually, right? I mean, everything does. But if we take care of that car, if we put the right chemical combinations in, if we add the right fuel, the right oil, and we take care of it, it's going to run a whole lot smoother for a whole lot longer. The systems are going to stay healthy. Just like our body, it matters on a cellular level what combination, quantity, and form of nutrients that we get. And his patented process is what he spent 40 years developing.
Well, thank you. That's a great analogy. I love that. Well, lately I've been really concerned about something that's affecting our youth in today's world. You know, back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, when I was raising my children, I hardly ever knew of any children with autism, ADD, ADHD, or even anxiety and depression. I mean, it wasn't there. It wasn't a concern. It wasn't anything talked about as mothers. But in today's world, these challenges are becoming so much more common. I don't think there's a neighborhood or a classroom that doesn't have a child without these kinds of conditions. And so I know you've worked with a lot of youth with these kinds of conditions, so please share with us some results you've had.
Oh, definitely. You know, and you're absolutely right. I think that we all can say, yes, we know somebody that has ADHD or ADD or autism, and actually they have now classified ADD and ADHD in the autism Asperger's spectrum. And you're right about years ago how it was. I mean, I was reading research on autism, and in the 1980s, there was 1 in 50,000 kids reported cases of autism, and today it's 1 in 47, and that's really scary. And I know that that's the case with many, many issues. I mean, today so many people suffer with depression and anxiety, and especially our kids, and that's just not right, and it's not fair. And I had the opportunity to work with youth at risk, and that was here in the state of Utah, and at any given time we had 2,500 plus boys between the ages of 12 and 19, adjudicated youth in state custody in facilities, and most of these kids were medicated with some sort of psychotropic medication, and it just didn't make sense to me as to why we were struggling so badly. And it was interesting. In my own family, I actually got custody of one of my nephews a couple of years ago, and he too was diagnosed with ADHD and oppositional defiance disorder and various different things that he struggled with his whole life. He struggled socially, he struggled emotionally, and he struggled with his education. So one of the first things that I did when he came to our home and came to live was immediately put him on microdaily. And the changes in him were absolutely phenomenal. I have always believed, and through the research I've done, that nutrition plays such a critical role in how our body operates, not only physically but mentally. If you think about it, we have to be healthy on a cellular level in order to operate the way that we're supposed to. So if we're not getting that combination of nutrients, those things that trigger our own natural repair mechanisms in our body, because our body is meant to do what it does. It's meant to take care of itself. It's meant to repair and grow and continue to be healthy and strong and repair that double-strand DNA breakage. And that's one of the things that microdaily does do, is it actually does repair double-strand DNA breakage. And we know that when there's double-strand DNA breakage in the body, there's that cell's going to continue to replicate itself. And from that, we can form inflammation and form diseases, and both mental, physical, emotional, all of those things play a key factor. But for him, what the changes that we had, and I'd like to share, are he went from, so we got him in at the end of 7th grade. He finished 7th grade with straight F's. He had no desire to go to school. He didn't want to. I mean, he had lost interest in athletics. He just was not where a kid at that age should be. We started him out, and severe acne. And this was a really interesting side effect of microdaily that we didn't expect and didn't know was going to happen. But what happened with him is he got on the microdaily, and change of environment as well helped. You know, having a happy home and a comfortable place to be and support. But on the microdaily, he began to calm down. He began to not be that high-strung kid that people couldn't be around him. And he was so hard to be around. Somebody would say, oh, is he going to be there? Oh, I don't know. Or kids, you know, a lot of parents wouldn't let kids play with him. And it was really hard for him. But he changed. He began to calm down. He began to just become happy and at peace. You could just see the changes occurring in him. And we started school in 8th grade, and his first term, he got A's, B's, and C's, and he was so proud of himself, and we were so proud of him. And he continued to go, and we'll say he ended the end of 8th grade on the high honor roll. He was a 4.0 student, and now we're in 9th grade, and we're still seeing the same trend. He's a straight A student. He'll graduate, well, not graduate, but he'll end this year as a 4.0 student. And the acne, he had really bad acne when we first got him as well. And when we got him on the microdaily, it was about 6 to 8 weeks, and 100% of his acne was gone. So it's really funny he is adamant about making sure he has it with him all the time, and not because of the grades, but because of the acne, which I'm sure you can understand, and most teenagers would be that way.
That is such an incredible story. When you change the life of a child and their whole future is going to change because of this product and what it's done for his self-esteem, for his being able to make and keep friends and just feel good about himself. I mean, what an incredible thing to do for a child. I just have been so passionate about wanting to share this with children with these kinds of conditions. After hearing this story, it just makes you motivated to want to share. And also, it takes such a load off parents, because I know parents who have these children of these kinds of conditions. It's a big stress, it's a big worry, it's a big concern, and so everybody is happier. Isn't that right?
It is. It is exactly that, and it brings peace. And it's interesting when you think about it that a nutrient could actually do something like that. But the reality is, if we give our body what it needs, if we give ourselves the proper fuel, just like we do in our vehicles, it is incredible what the body is capable of. I have been with the company long enough and witnessed so many amazing experiences. I mean, because it isn't disease specific, Lorraine. It's body specific. There isn't a human body that doesn't need the basic core elements. So there just isn't really anything that it's not going to help us be better with, only because it helps our body be the strongest version of itself it can be. Does that make sense?
Yes. So what we're saying, we don't have to be concerned if a person has diabetes or arthritis or fibromyalgia or autism or whatever. The body, when given the proper nutrients, begins to improve and become healthier. Is that
right? Right, exactly. No matter what we're battling, no matter what we're facing, or even if we're already extremely healthy, it helps protect and repair the things that we can be facing, the things that we are facing, and, you know, even things as far as when I look forward to aging. I'm a grandma now, and I love being a grandma, but I hate the idea that grandmas get dementia. I hate the idea that grandmas have a hard, that's scary to me. But having Micro Daily on board on a regular basis for me is something I will never live without, because I know that I'm giving my body the best possible opportunity to be as healthy as I possibly can be for as long as I can be.
Oh, that's exactly the way I feel. There is so much cancer in my family, and my mother had Alzheimer's, and she started about my age, and I don't have any of those symptoms anymore of any of that, and it just makes me so grateful, because, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure is the way I look at it.
Definitely, absolutely. And Lorraine, if you wouldn't mind, I actually asked a special guest or a really good friend of mine to share her testimony as well on the call, just so that we can get an idea of, there are so many different experiences out there that each of us have individually based on our own bodies. But the reality is we're all responding, we're all healthy, we're all getting stronger, because we are giving ourselves that core basic value. Would that be all right with you?
Oh, I would love that.
Okay.
Yes.
Her name is Catrice Johnson. She is a leader in Texas. She's from South Texas area. She's been with Engage for about 4.5 years, and I actually met her through working with Engage Global. But she is just a phenomenal lady. She's an amazing leader for her team, and I just am so honored to have her here. Catrice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We can.
Well, thank you for having me on the call. And I'll be honest with you. When I first started with Engage Global, I wasn't thinking about health or anything. And a lot of you that know me and see me, you see that I'm thin, and I'm 6'2", and I didn't think I had to take anything. Well, my husband was always telling me, you need to take supplements, you need to take vitamins, and I was like, nah, I don't need that stuff. Well, mid-age hit, 50, things started going downhill, and I was like, well, maybe I do need to take some of that stuff. And it wasn't any particular thing at the time. My husband was into many supplements, you name it, Amway, Melaleuca, Nature Sunshine, Nature Way, whatever it was, we had it and we paid for it in our cupboards. So, but I didn't take it. So I found out about this product by overhearing a conversation. I was actually at a networking meeting, and I heard these ladies behind me talking about, I need more of that stuff. My knees don't hurt. I can get up off the floor. I have more energy. And I'm like, well, what are you guys taking? So I politely got up and I went over and I asked, what are you selling and what are you taking? And she gave me a sample. So I took the sample and I brought it home, but I didn't take it. I set it on the dresser, and I called somebody and told them about it, but I didn't take it. And they said, you should take it. So I took it. And for me, the only thing that I noticed was I had more energy. I had more energy, and my alertness was better. That's the only thing I noticed. But mind you, I've been taking this product now for 4.5 years. So in the 4.5 years, these are some of the things that I saw. The first thing I said was the energy. Then I noticed I have a bone spur in my neck, and I wasn't able to turn my neck fully. Sometimes I would have to snap my neck because it would get stuck. Well, my neck has not been stuck since I've been taking this product. I can move my neck any direction now. I don't have that grinding sound in my neck anymore. My hair and nails grow like crazy. And some of you women out there might understand what I'm saying. When I would sneeze, I would weep. What I'm saying is incontinence. And somewhere in these 4.5 years, I sneezed and realized nothing happened. What happened? Nothing. So, and then later on I sneezed again and nothing happened, and nothing has happened. I don't remember when it stopped, but it stopped. And that was pretty amazing to me. My skin is so much better. My knees would swell up the size of oranges. And just one morning they started swelling and they wouldn't stop. But ever since I've been taking this product, my knees have not swollen anymore. Not one day. One other thing here recently that I've noticed, I'm not a big doctor fan, but I was supposed to have a colonoscopy 10 years ago, back in 2009, and I didn't go. For what reason, I don't know. I didn't go, and I didn't know the doctor had said I had blood in my stool. I didn't know this. So when I called up, I went this year. I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna get all my eggs in a row. And I called up to make an appointment. And she says, oh, yeah, back in 2009, you were supposed to come get a colonoscopy. And it says here that you had blood in your stool. I mean, I think I turned white in the face. I was like, I'm in trouble. So I started taking this product in 2014. So I go in and I do the procedure and everything, and I was really, really worried that something was going to go wrong or had gone wrong, and I hadn't taken care of it. Mm-hmm. But when they came back and told me everything is just perfect, no polyps, no nothing, and I had to think back and think it had to be the Micro Daily that helped me through this. So anybody that's out there that have not tried this product, you need to at least try it. You won't know what it will do for you until you at least try it. Because when they gave me that one sample, I went and bought a month's supply of it, and I gave everyone in my family a week of it, and I guarantee you every one of us have a different result. I'm talking from anxiety, depression. My daughter has palms that are wet and clammy that have been that way her entire life. Anytime she touched something, the paper's wet, or anytime she touched you, her hands are clammy. They're dry. I mean, there's a whole list that I could go through for my family, but I won't. But that's my testimony, and I'm sticking to it. And thank you, Angela, for asking me on the call.
Awesome, Patrice. Thanks so much for being on. These are the stories, guys, that we hear over and over and over. And like Patrice said, it isn't, everybody has a different experience, but the point is we're all having an experience. I wouldn't give back my microdaily for anything. You would have to, I wouldn't go get a colonoscopy either, Patrice, by the way. No kidding. But there's no way. You would have to rip it out of my hands. I know what it does for me, and I know what it does for my family, and I know what it has done for thousands of other individuals. So this is a mission for us. For most of us that are here and have been here, it really is a mission just to, improve our own lives, but help improve the lives of others. And there's an opportunity as well. I have been fortunate to be with the company since 2013. I haven't worked since 2013. This is what I do, and this is all that I do. So it's given me an incredible opportunity. And what better way to be able to support your family or to earn a part-time income or anything you're looking at that direction, but to have a product that you know is going to change lives, and to have customers and to have friends and members out helping you spread the word and get out the nutrient, but to be proud of what you have and to know that what you're giving and what you have to share is actually changing lives. I'm sure, Lorraine, that's exactly what you're doing, right?
Right. And I just have a passion for helping people. And I tell you, the greatest paycheck in the world is when someone calls you up and says, I feel so much better. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. That's all the paycheck I need. But thank you, Angela, for your great leadership, for all the valuable information, for the testimonials given. So it's been a great call. I'm going to unmute everyone so we can all tell Angela thank you.